call the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for, say the 17th,
It's the 16th.
16th of March to order. We do have a quorum. And the first order of business is to approve the minutes of the meeting of August 21st. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Sure, I did, just a point of information, I did give,
Staff.
I'm sorry.
Bethany.
Bethany, and I apologize, they're reading glasses. So I did give Bethany a couple corrections, they're small things I found, but other than that, I moved to accept the proceedings or the notes. Minutes, as written with those corrections added.
Yes, there are going to be 2 typos. Correct.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. We have an application for a variance.
The property at 819 North 6th Street is requesting a variance from section 4.03 of the development regulations to allow an interior side setback of less than 6 feet. The property is zoned R16 and has an existing single-family home on it. The R16 zoning district requires a minimum interior side yard setback of 6 feet. The house had an existing rear deck that encroached into the side yard setback. A new porch with new footings was constructed. Therefore, it required a building permit and it came through us for review. The deck is 3 foot 6 inches from the interior side yard. And the property owner is out of town, so I'm going to read his statement into the meeting. August 30th, 2023, Board of Zoning Appeals. Attached, you will find an application for an appeal on our deck. We are asking for a variance from the setback requirement. Unfortunately, we are not able to be present at this meeting, October 16th, as we will be out of town from October 15th through October 19th. You will find attached a drawing that is to scale that will show most of the deck is more than 6 feet from the property line. There is a section roughly 17 feet that runs north and south that is 3 feet 6 inches from the property line. I have also attached all the required documents. Lastly, I have provided 7 pictures showing the deck area, with the first 2 were taken from the north side of our house facing south, showing the area that is in question. The next 2 are from the south side facing north, showing that same section. Finally, the last 3 pictures show where the deck begins to angle, and at 2 feet 6 inches, the deck is at minimum 6 feet from the property line, and as you can see, continues to increase in distance between the property line and the deck. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Michael Gardner. So the action before you is to approve or deny the request for a variance from the development regulations to allow an interior side yard setback of 3 feet 6 inches at 819 North 6th.
Do we have any letters from any neighbors or?
We did not hear after the required notifications from any property owners.
Okay. Does anyone have any question with regard to the staff report?
Well, the only question I had was, where's the porch that he mentioned?
So there's not great photos of before, but you can kind of see in the Google Maps that there is an existing porch there, and if you go back a little bit further, you can see it a little bit better. It's at the existing, so they had to get a new permit because it was more than just like repairing in kind, because they pour new footings, so it had to meet current code. And that's how we saw the permit. And so it has to meet current setbacks.
So would it no longer be grandfathered in like this one?
Right, exactly.
Because it's a new construction?
Right. Even though it's the same footprint, that's why they're here for a variance.
Did they have a permit to do this?
Not before.
Um,
Did this already go?
They, it's in progress. They had started work without getting a permit, and then, we
So the permit's still,
pending until this is settled.
And then my other question, in regards to that, are they doing this work themselves, or do they go through a company or a contractor to do this?
I believe it was through a contractor. Which there are certain contractors that are bonded through the city and they don't have to get permits ahead of time from the inspections and permitting department, even though we require some reviews
was
before.
this one of those contractors?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay.
It's in the same footprint, same distances, everything that we can,
On the side yard setback. Now in the back, I don't have before pictures, but you can see that this is the section where it's encroaching into the side yard.
which is the section that you showed previous, right?
Which is new.
So we're just discussing the side yard
Correct.
setback.
And this is
Right.
the new section that they made that is different than what was there existing? To understand?
This was existing, they they had to pour new footings, so you can kind of see from this viewpoint, it's the,
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I got it.
So they put a new fence in and they put a new,
and they did have a
Deck.
fence permit.
say again,
They did have a fence permit.
Okay.
is the fence on the property line?
Yes, which it's allowed to be.
Yeah, understand.
Yeah.
But sometimes people have a fence a little bit in from the property line, so,
To my understanding, it's on the property line.
Okay.
I believe the owner was the one that actually came up with 3 feet 6 inches for
Yeah.
this measurement.
Yeah.
does anyone have any other questions?
Well, I have a question. If we don't approve the variance, what happens to that deck?
They have to reduce it so that it's 6 feet from the property line. And remember, financial hardship's not one of the criteria for you guys to review.
Okay.
Okay. That was my next question, was on that. That was my next question.
This is why that little note's right there.
Oh, sorry, that was on my set.
No, that's okay, because I wanted to make sure, that's why that note was there. So the money is not an issue, correct?
You can't use that
No, understood, I just,
in deciding.
gotcha,
You can only use the 5 criteria
right.
that we go through every request.
So they would have to take that apart or take where they poured the, I don't know that they poured anything. It looks like it could be concrete down there. I mean, that they've anchored the pilings into.
I apologize.
So
My wife, she knows I'm here.
So they've got
It'd be an
to,
emergency.
they would have to take that down and move it back 2.5 feet. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So they would basically have to, remove this part entirely to go
Yes.
back to the stairs.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I guess what they would have to do, if we're looking at that picture, they they would have to cut it where the post is closest to the house
Mhm.
and remove that section all the way down.
Yes,
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it would be exactly like that.
Well, and that's part of the reason why getting permits reviewed is helpful.
So you're saying it would be cut from here,
yeah,
straight back to roughly this post, or
Right.
equal,
Yes,
removing this whole section here?
yes,
So it would just be at the step.
Not the whole section, most of it.
yes.
most of it. Well, we can't tell from scale on the photo.
He has a drawing. Each square equals 1 foot, so
Oh, okay,
one,
so,
two, so it'd be roughly like here.
Okay, about halfway.
They have to cut back 2.5
A little bit
feet,
more.
yeah. Hey,
That'd be almost right to here.
yeah.
Right, almost like right there.
well, if this is,
That's 3.5 feet,
that's 3.5 feet, they only need
2.5.
2.5 feet, so
Like this.
it probably would be like that, yeah. And they'd have to pour something to support it back
Yes.
here, because obviously that's the
Right.
footing where the support
Yes.
is there.
Yes, sir.
It would just have to be 6 feet from the property line.
Yeah.
Just have to cut back 2.5 feet to make that happen. Yeah.
So we're like, might be right here. Because those pickets by code should be
You know,
like
just concerned about the contractor not catching that.
4 inches?
That's what I'm scratching my head
Would
about.
that be about right?
What
That
pickets?
first
The
thing
pickets
we
themselves?
The
on
upright
Come in here
pickets.
and check on.
Yes.
On the
That's
railing?
a building code.
Setback.
Question?
I agree.
Yeah,
Okay,
and since they haven't gotten their permit yet,
right.
And those are, they're 4x4s.
Yeah, so that's a
That-
4x4 and we're at 3'6". So roughly, should roughly be 4 inches to scale on that. So so really about roughly where that black mark is
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the fascia board
Yeah,
is where they'd have to cut back to.
Yes.
And then put new footings down and,
yes, sir, I believe so.
I
are there any other questions of staff?
I don't have any other questions.
no.
Other than why didn't they check in advance?
That's my main head scratcher. You think if they're doing one for the contractor, they would do due diligence to save them.
Well, contractor or not, I mean, it's still ultimately the property owner's responsibility. And I would
Yeah,
imagine they had a contractor.
they did, because the pictures before had people working on it.
And that's something that the property owner could take up with the contractor.
okay, do we have any other questions of the staff?
I don't believe so.
If not,
No,
no,
no questions.
I'll open the public hearing, and hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. So, in consideration of case number 2023-27, a request for variance may be granted upon finding of the board that all of the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination on each condition, and finding shall be entered in the record. Number one, or A, that the variance requested arises from such condition that which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. I'll start to my right.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Agreed.
And I agree. So the four of us agree, okay, that the granting of the permit or for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. On my left?
I disagree.
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 Disagree. That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application. Start on my right.
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
Agree. That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare. On my left?
I agree.
Agreed.
Agree.
Agree.
That the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
Agree. So we have one of the five.
So it doesn't pass.
Hmm?
It does not pass
It
then.
has not passed. In based on the findings of fact, case number 2023-27 does not pass.
And we will be having a meeting next month with one case.
Okay.
Okay?
And that is gonna be,
The 27th
yes,
of November. The Monday after Thanksgiving.
Okay, I was going to ask.
yes.
At this moment, it shouldn't be a problem for me to be here.
And Michelle will send out her normal reminder and
Okay.
ask for quorum.
I will actually be out of town
Okay,
at that time. Also, I'll put in an email to remind you, but I won't be here for that.
thank you.
And I will entertain a motion to adjourn if no one has anything else.
Sir, I make a motion to, all right, a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.